Hi everyone, Michael here with Spirit Comics. I have a new book to review. This is Saban's Go Go Power Rangers. When I heard about this comic some months ago, I was a little bit skeptical because I heard that it was going to primarily focus, now I might be getting this wrong, but it was going to focus on the interpersonal relationships between the Power Rangers, and it was going to show how they grew as a team and as a people, and the action was not going to be the main focus like the other comic that Boom Studios publishes, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This one, also by Boom Studios, has a different writing team. Kyle Higgins writes the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers book for Boom Studios, but this one is written by Ryan Parrott, and there's an interview with him and the artist in the back. And before anybody goes thinking that this dude doesn't know what he's talking about, well, Ryan Parrott says that he grew up watching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So this is his take on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because you can see that's the Megazord and the original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger team. And you've got to love the cover. Because look at that cover. That's a beautiful cover. Like I may have said this before. I'm not sure if I did. Something that hooks me is a really good cover. But the cover alone can't be the only aspect of the comic book that keeps me hanging on, to paraphrase a song by Blondie. Now we get into the story here, and there's already some action going on, as you can see. So there's a sword that hit the ground, and Goldar is fighting the Megazord, and they come to blows, and then eventually the Power Rangers win. But the dialogue leaves me wanting more, because, and I'll explain it, because the Pink Ranger says, "What the heck is going on?" And I think this is a Zach. We're space ninjas. A mild oversimplification. I think that's Billy, because all the boxes are colored. Sorry, space ninjas with killer robots shaped like dinosaurs. Ironically, a mastodon isn't a dinosaur. That's probably Billy. Neither is a saber-toothed tiger. That's Trini. Thanks, Nerd Police. That's got to be Zach there in the gray box. But we just fought a giant monkey. That's got to be Kimberly there in the pink box. A giant blue monkey. Zach in a suit of armor. Trini here. Yeah, all I'm saying is, that's Kimberly, we totally won! And that's a good splash page shot right there. And Trini says, "Did we though?" And Kimberly says, "Yeah, we saved the world, like, for real, for real." Seems like they just forfeit, Trini says. And there's Goldar, and he's running off because he knows that he's defeated. But the dialogue, I don't know if they were aiming for a younger audience or what, but something about the dialogue just doesn't seem right to me. And of course, Goldark says, "This isn't over. I'll be back." Forfeit. Come on, Zack says. City's still standing. No one died, and we just. This is right now. This is cringe-worthy to me. I honestly think perhaps they're aiming for a younger audience, not the people who grew up with the television series. Zack says, and we just Legoed 5 baby robots into a giant super badass robot on our first try. Ugh. That's the third time I've read that, and I cringe every time. Because, really, a Lego reference? I mean, I know Legos are more mature now, but still, really? A Lego reference? And Zack says, sounds like a win to me. And then, here in the yellow box, that's Trini. She says, it's something else that I find cringeworthy. Don't ever call Kitty Saurus a baby robot again. Kitty Saurus? And then it says now arrival day. And I'm not exactly sure what arrival day means. But here they are on top of the Megazord. This is I know it's terribly small. It was even small for me. Billy and Zack on this side. Billy and Zack. Then Kimberly up top here. Trini sitting over here. And Jason standing. So Billy says, yeah, I think Zack says, you already named it? Referring to the Megazord. And Billy's like, yeah, I think she named all of them. And then down here, Billy's saying, Zack, are you worried at all about the army showing up and, being mad at us? Mad? For what? We just saved the world. If anything, they should start making their own Zords. Now, this is the first indication that I saw that Billy is being portrayed as a coward. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's how it comes across. And Trini says, Jason, you okay over there? You know you can talk now. Battle's over. And he says, yeah, but the war is just starting. And I got a feeling things are never going to be the same. And so it goes to, changes to Angel Grove Youth Center and Juice Bar 3 months before arrival day. And this is Jason, he's practicing. Visualize and breathe. Visualize and 1, 2, hi-ya! Name, Jason Scott Lee, age 15. Likes, Eye of the Tiger, brunettes, pretty much all things karate. Hi-ya! Now, that alone, this telling, everything that, he likes, and then he goes, hey-ya! And over down here, dislikes, bullies, beats, and being told to calm down. And then a personal quote. Man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated. Supposedly Ernest Hemingway. I haven't looked it up, so I don't know. Now, all these little descriptions about the character, Jason Scott Lee, it seems like something you would read on a person's Facebook page, information about them. And that too is cringy. So Ernie comes in and asks if he's alright. Ernie owns the juice bar, and it's like early in the morning, so he asked Jason, "What's up with this?" And he said, and Jason goes, when he was much younger, that he went to camp and this one kid had built a bow and arrow, I think, and took him like the whole time he was there to make it, and then some kid goes up to the other kid and breaks the bow, and then Jason says, "I was the one that broke it," because Ernie says, "Well, that's not your fault. You couldn't help it." And he says, "No, I was the kid who broke it." So he's doing this as self-discipline to keep himself from ever behaving that way again. And I have to admire that. Just the stuff about, his name and likes, dislikes, personal quote, that's creepy to me. And so first of all, we're told that Jason, by him recalling his past, we're given the hint that perhaps he has a destructive nature. Okay? And then the next panel over goes to Angel Grove High School, and Zach is walking with Jason, who is pretty much quiet, and Zach, age 15, they do the same thing with him, likes EDM, AOL, and Mother Metal, and molten metal melting videos. And I'm not going to try to say that again. And this is just weird because they paint Zach as Mr. Popular, whereas in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book, he doesn't have this same type of outgoing spirit. And yeah, it's written by different people. Kyle Higgins writes the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book, and someone else writes this one. And then there's this dude, who's obviously in band, and I'm not going to read everything with Zach because it's kind of tiring. I'll even read you what Jason said down here. And Zach looks over at this guy, and I believe this is a guy. He says, "Brandy, my friend, how are those clarinet lessons I hooked you up with?" Brandy? Seriously? This looks like a teenage boy. This doesn't look like a girl at all. And it says, in case the person's name is really Brandon, he doesn't even acknowledge that Zach said Brandy. He said, "Awesome, Zach, thanks. My mom's finally letting me practice inside for once." And apparently Zach dislikes curfews and uncomfortable silences. Then he walks up to this teacher. Mr. Rick, I'm ready for that history quiz tomorrow." He says, It's today." I honestly can't tell if you're joking," Zach says. What kind of response to a teacher is that? I would think, something like, "Oh, that's today. I totally got my times mixed up. Thank you for reminding me. I honestly can't tell if you're joking. Really?" And then down here, this blonde girl says, "Zach, when are you asking me to homecoming?" Now that's not something that you hear about very often, at least I don't. And what he says in response, I'm like, huh? Because listen to this. Zach smiles at her and says, "Equality, girl. First to ask me out wins." Equality? Now, the only dance that I can think of in which a girl would ask a guy out is the one called Sadie Hawkins. that's the only one, I think, where the girl asks the guy. All the rest of them, the guy is the one who makes the move. And then and I agree with Jason down here, where he says, sometimes hanging out with you is exhausting. And Zach says, what can I say? Everybody's my best friend. Huh? I mean, this Zach is someone that needs to be taken down a peg, I think. Personal quote, believe you can and you're halfway there. Supposedly from Theodore Roosevelt. And then over here we've got Billy and Trini walking to class. And then they're talking about people and relationships. And Billy says, and this exchange here has me cringing too, because Billy says, Trini, if you actually tell your crush how you feel, your chance of dating increases exponentially. That's something I would expect him to say. Name Trini Kwan, age 15. Name Billy Cranston, age 14. Trini replies, as do the odds of rejection and utter humiliation. It's a mathematical certainty. So yeah, not gonna do that. I'll get halfway there and I'll just vomit. Trust me. So Billy likes computers, french fries, coffee, and a perfect GPA. Dislikes dancing, fish, and the beach. And he says, and I cannot believe they put this in here. It's like, maybe I'm overreacting. Possibly I am. He says, try Dramamine. It's how my mom got through her wedding day. And it wasn't even on a boat. Now, I believe Dramamine is a medication, a chemical to help a person with their nervousness, possibly depression. I'm not sure. And so they're technically prescribing medication through a comic book story. Trini replies, when you move around as much as I have, it's hard to even know where to start sometimes. And she likes toasted marshmallows, mason jars, and lists. Dislikes heights, Velcro, and the Oxford comma, whatever that is. And she says, he probably already knows anyway. I'm crazy obvious. It's sickening. And her personal quote is, friendship is born at that moment when one person says to another, what, you too? I thought I was the only one. Supposedly from C.S. Lewis. And then Billy gets belted, or hit with 2 water balloons. And he says, well, according to the Gibbs free energy, and trails off, he gets hit with 2 water balloons. And his personal quote is, the enemy gate is... And that's Bulk and Skull. They're the ones who threw the water balloons, and they go inside, and I swear, this Zach character that was written is becoming a real jerk. He says, dude, Billy, retro hairstyle, Flock of Seagulls. And in case you don't know, Flock of Seagulls is a pop band from the 1980s. And Trini says, Bulk hit him with a water balloon. And then this guy says, Billy, 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 gotta learn to duck. I'm telling you, just say the word and the football team duct tapes Bulk to the goalpost. He says, no, that's okay, but thanks, Matt. Alright, but at least take my hat. And I think that was pretty nice there, that exchange. He says, see, now you're almost as cool as me. And I don't know why his likes and stuff was put in here, but his name is Matthew Cook, age 16, likes football, pistachio, and bubble wrap. Dislikes drinking orange juice after milk clowns and the color turquoise, whatever that means. Personal quote: "My life feels like a test I didn't study for." So I haven't read the second issue, so I don't know if he's going to be part of the story or not. And then we're transported to the moon. This is Rita Repulsa, and there's Goldar, and these are the two astronauts that freed Rita Repulsa from her 10,000-year prison. And she's talking to him and says, "No, I'm not going to hurt you because you freed me." And then back at Angel Grove Youth Center and Juice Bar, they're talking about, what are they going to do because, about who they are now. Because they're going to have to hide their identities from people other than their friends and family. And Zach says we could morph and help with the cleanup because, their city is pretty much in ruins. And Jason says reporters and soldiers are everywhere. They're all looking for us, so that's not a good idea at the moment. And then he says, since Zordon put me in charge, I think. And then Zach interrupts him saying, "Can we trust him though? A giant glowing head gives us superpowers and we're just supposed to do whatever he says. I can't be the only one thinking it." And, there he doesn't seem so much like a jerk. And then they keep talking about it, and Alpha 5, the robot in the command center, calls Jason. And then Zach's like, "What? When did Alpha 5 give him a space phone? I want a space phone, Billy." And he's like, intriguing. And so they panel over here is about Kimberly and I forgot what the guy's name was, and this guy at makeout point, they're talking, and he's saying how much he cares for her and whatnot, and then her phone goes off, and she's needed, so he says that he'll give her a ride home, but then she says we don't have to leave right this moment, and hinting that she might want to kiss or do something else for a little bit while longer. Her name, Kimberly Hart, age 15, likes green olives, balance beams, and headphones. Dislikes escalators, tongue depressors, and lilies. Personal quote: "Please don't write something silly for your personal quote, her mother." And then over here we have, they're back at their command center. And this is Zordon talking to him. You've gotta do this, gotta be responsible. And then Billy says, "Please don't tell me we're going to the moon," because Zordon says you gotta go rescue those astronauts that freed Rita Repulsa. And they're really writing Billy strange. He says, "This feels spontaneous." And so they morph and they get to the moon, and of course they get in their stance like they always did during the show. Jason says, "Alright guys, it's morphin' time! Mastodon! Pterodactyl! Triceratops! Saber-tooth tiger! Tyrannosaurus! Go Power Rangers!" And that's a nice shot of them morphing. And so all of a sudden they go from the Earth to the moon. And then they get down here right out in front of Rita Repulsa's castle or whatever it is. And I think it's Zach that says this. "Wow! Hey guys, which hideous secret palace do you think it is? And I'm thinking to myself, why are they writing him like this? Because there's only one secret palace right here. And then they are met with an army of putties, which is the soldiers that Rita Repulsa has at her disposal, and they're literally made of clay. That's why they're called putties. And so while Jason's dealing with the putties, the rest of them go inside to get the astronauts. And they go inside, they see Goldar and the astronauts, and they fight Goldar. And then they knock him unconscious, and they get the astronauts, and they're trying to get out of there, but then something happens, and their exit vanishes. Then out here, Rita Repulsa comes to meet Jason. Says, "So the fearless Red Ranger abandons the others to face me alone. You should have brought your friends." And he says, "You're not going to hurt anyone else. You started this fight." Then she gives him a blast from her staff. And then they come, and then her blast was so good that it knocked him through the wall. And then he hits this wall. And Trinity says, "Jason, are you alright?" And of course he's not alright. I mean, I guess that's just a natural response. But he says, and this is really difficult to see because it's in small print, "She hits really hard." And he's like stuck against that wall now, and probably almost unconsciousness. And then Rita makes herself known along with Goldar and her two minions. "Welcome to my home. I've been watching your little rescue mission, and more importantly, I've been listening. What did you call him? Jason? He and I have already met, so if I heard correctly, your names are Kimberly and Trini and Zach and the last one, Billy? I wanted us all to have a proper introduction, so I had my palace lead you to me. My name is Rita Repulsa, and you have all made a terrible mistake. To be continued." Now, as first issues go, I was disappointed in this one. I really was. And I have issue 3, but I don't have issue 2, so I'm going to get issue 2 soon. And hopefully the writer will improve. Because with good artwork, you've got to have good writing. And the artwork was pretty good. I mean, who can't like a side shot such as that, and a scope overlooking their city? I've said before, I am not going to rate comics on, base it on a 1 to 10 scale or anything like that. I'm just going to say I was disappointed in this issue. It wasn't extremely bad, but it wasn't extremely good either. I'm hoping that the writer can improve. I mean, with a first issue, it's very important to grab the reader. Because if you don't grab the reader with both artwork, like on the cover and inside, and a good story, the reader might not come back for issue 2. But I am going to read issue 2 as well. So you can go out and purchase this if you want. I'm not going to tell you to purchase it or not to, but it's not. It's not. I'm disappointed in the story, but I'm hopeful that the story will improve along with the dialogue, because the dialogue was the biggest letdown to me. And that was my review of Saban's Go-Go Power Rangers #1, published by Boom Studios. Writer Ryan Parrott, and illustrated by Dan Mora. So, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm Michael for Spirit Comics.